by giving to other people, they're going to like you more. They're
Yep.
going to buy from you if you're selling something. And even if they don't buy from you, they'll refer people to you because they'll trust you more.
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me today, as always, is Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Todd?
I am doing fantastic. Man, I tell you, crazy stuff is happening. It looks like a couple of old businesses that have been around forever are going bankrupt. It looks like Neiman Marcus might be going bankrupt. Looks like JCPenney's, Macy's, some of those stores are really having a hard time here. Maybe they're going to be the next ones on the chopping block. So it'd be interesting to, I guess, find out what's happening. Quite frankly, if you're going out of business already, it's only month number 2, starting. So if you're going out of business already, you are likely going to be going out of business soon, right? Because we just had potentially the best economy we've ever had for the last several years. And so you should have made money. And with that money, hopefully you saved a little bit. And if you were able to do that, well, then you should be in an okay financial position for at least a couple months. And especially because some of those stores probably didn't even completely close down. But interesting times, but I heard that. And then I hear, and I haven't read the details, man, maybe you have, but I hear crude oil is selling for $5 a barrel.
It was down to as low as 4 as today during our recording here.
That is crazy.
Yep. A good time to buy oil.
Great time to buy oil. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, some crazy times, and hold on to your seatbelt, man. I mean, buckle up, hold on, and we're gonna have a ride. I think it's gonna be an interesting time. It'll all pass, and like we've already talked about, different opportunities will arise from it. I'm optimistic that those who position themselves well will still be good and actually be able to make it through this pretty well. And I was talking to a gentleman today, and we talked, and we'll probably actually we recorded our conversation. We'll probably put it on this podcast here, but we just talked about the quantitative easing and all the money that's being thrown in, and how that actually provides even greater wealth transfer, which is unfortunate for those who don't take advantage of the market and the situations. But if it does what the last time did, the assets, the financial assets, real estate and stocks and stuff like that, business valuations will actually go up at a greater amount than regular inflation, causing a bigger wealth transfer. So now's the time to be aware of that. And obviously you want to be on the right side of that. And nobody wants to see people get hurt financially, but that's probably what's going to happen again here. So
yep, you have to be able to adapt.
Yeah, that's another thing we talked a lot about is you have to be able to adapt, and you've got to look at what's going on right now and try to be able to solve the problems that are at hand. So I was on Facebook, and I don't spend a lot of time browsing through Facebook. So this must have just been one of the posts that was popped up. Anyway, I don't remember the context of the post, but I think it was something about stimulus checks or blah, 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 one of those things. And somebody said something about, she's a massage business, and her clients are suffering because they can't, get a massage to alleviate their muscle problems or the problems that they have, the reason why they come in, and she can't make any income. And I said, I get it. And it's too bad. But why don't you do some things that are going to help your clients and at the same time help you? For instance, you could be sending them or posting daily content on different exercises, different stretches, diet. What can they do while they can't come see you? What can they do to better improve their health so that you can provide them, that? And then they trust you even more. They like you even more. They see you more as an expert. And now when you get back, instead of having 30 clients, you're going to have 130. You're going to have, a limitless amount. People are going to be going, hey, here's some great content from my massage therapist. Look at why don't you should try this? Oh yeah. You remember when you were talking about your back hurting? Hey, check out this. And all of a sudden she's got a ton of clients. Now it sucks because right now she doesn't have paying clients. Like that doesn't help her today. Right. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's not going to help me today. Why I do it? But it's going to help you in the future. Right? It's going to provide you better opportunity as we come out of this. So we got to be adapting, we got to be thinking, and we got to always be trying to improve ourselves.
Yep. And use this time, to and your creativity to find solutions, like you say.
Yeah.
So I just got a push notification, and this will be old news, I think, by the time this episode airs. But oil prices are below $0 per barrel, which means that oil companies are paying customers to take oil off their hands.
Wow, pick me. I got some couple acres. I can just store a few barrels in my backyard. Once it goes up to 50, I'll sell it to you. Oh, crazy times we're living in. So very interesting. Well, let's get to today's topic. We're going to talk about the Go Giver Sells More. And just want to quick go through that. First of all, what'd you think of the book?
Really good. I mean, it's things that I already knew. By adding value to other people, good things will come back to you. But it really laid it all out, like really how it all works. And by giving to other people, they're going to like you more. They're going to buy from you if you're selling something. And even if they don't buy from you, they'll refer people to you because they'll trust you more. Like you gave the example of the massage therapist who's giving out content by adding value to people, then they'll have more customers.
Yep. Yeah, and it takes a softer way of selling, I think, versus selling you're providing value to people, and in return, you're gaining their trust, you're gaining their acceptance, and then they eventually buy from you, and it's not necessarily expecting that buy. I think that he talks about the 5 laws, the law of value, how much you actually give away in value versus what you take in payment. Law of compensation, your income, is determined by how many people you serve and properly serve, not necessarily by, going out there and selling as much product, but how much service can you do? Law of influence, same thing. I mean, your influence is how, it is going to provide that compensation, and it's how abundantly you place other people's interests first, right? Which, on this show and on many podcasts, we're trying to provide as much information to people, and hopefully I'm doing as good of a job as I can, and I want to continue to serve people in a better way to provide their interests first. So I'm always trying to come up with ideas and how I can better serve my audience versus just serving myself. Now in return, I do get, definitely some good stuff out of it, but I want to see, okay, how can I, make this more geared towards the audience, the people that are listening to this, and help them out. And then, how authentic are you? The law of authenticity, being yourself. I mean, it's I was actually listening to the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, and he was talking about how he was like getting so tightly wound up. He wasn't being himself. He thought, he had to dress for success. He thought he had to be the first one to the office. He would come into the office just to be the first one there, and then you'd fall asleep. And want to be the last one to leave, and he was being a jerk to people, and he was seeing some success, but was just getting completely burnt out doing it, and finally took a step back and completely changed like how he was showing up in t-shirts and jeans and, not being necessarily the first one in the office, and how then being authentic, being who he was, just like 10x'd his growth in his business. So I thought that was really interesting and tied into this book. And then the last thing is the law of receiving, being open, making sure you're open to receiving, effectively giving, being the go-giver. You have to be open to receiving as well. I think a lot of us have a problem with receiving too. How many times have somebody said, or somebody tried to give you something, you're like, oh, no, thanks. No, thanks. No, I don't need that. Or, oh, that's okay. Instead of receiving it, going, thank you so much for doing this, for me, or giving this to me. It means so much to me. Instead, we try to push it away. We're not accepting of that.
Yeah, and to be gracious about it. If you're only giving and never getting back, then that can be hard on you. But if you're gracious about when people give you things in return, then they're going to be more likely to help you out with other future things, and you'll just have a great relationship with them. Whereas, like you say, refusing, saying no, that kind of puts an off-putting towards them, where they might think you're being rude.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in the book. I don't know, how much more in detail we can go. It's a fairly simple book. I think a lot of simple thoughts, a lot of good thoughts that just kind of get you to go, oh yeah. Like you say, you kind of know the context of the book, what's in there, and you understand it. I think for the most part, we all do. But sometimes you forget some of the principles, or are like, oh, I haven't been necessarily following that like I should. And so I think that's where it was a good book for me, is it kind of makes you go, oh yeah, you know what? Maybe I was being a little selfish. Maybe I was thinking about this the wrong way. Oh, am I really on my podcast serving my listeners like I should? Or what can I do to better serve them? So it just makes you think like, oh, maybe I should take a little bit of step back, reflect, and think, how can I serve people in a better way? I'm not already doing it. I'm already doing it right now, but how can I get better at it? How can I make sure I'm being more purposeful about it? And then, of course, how can I make sure that I'm receiving that feedback, whatever that feedback may be, but receiving that feedback in a positive manner?
Yep. And I really liked how the book had awesome examples and stories to really make the lessons ring true and make sense.
Yeah, definitely. I like books that give real life examples. It's so much easier to hear a couple stories than just to hear a fact list, right? I mean, for me, overall, I would say I definitely recommend it to people. Like I said, it's a simple book. It's not very complex. A lot of simple examples, but just makes your brain kind of rethink about it, and maybe puts you back in the driver's seat in the right spot, to be making sure you're following those kind of rules.
Yep. So,
did you like it?
I did, and I haven't read the original book about the
I have not either.
So I can't really compare the two.
Yeah.
But this one was an excellent book. I really do recommend it.
And I should have said the author. I didn't say the author. Let's see here. So it's
Bob,
Go-Giver Sells More.
Bob Burg and John Mann, I think.
Yep. Bob Burg and John David Mann. So check it out. Good book. And then there's like Matt said, there's the prequel.
The original.
The original. So the original to it is just called The Go-Giver, right? I think that's all it's called. Just The Go-Giver, and maybe check out that book as well. I know I'll be looking at that book and reading it, but this, I think, just some really good things to be kind of remind yourself of and thinking of.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, that's all I got, Matt. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it for today, I suppose.
Cool. Awesome. Well, you take care, Evan. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day Saturday. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. Say, I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.